Hey guys, so today we are going to be getting straight into the top 5 LEGO Star Wars sets of 2012. Don't know why it says top 5, it is actually top 10, but you know, whatever, more the merrier I guess. So yeah, let's get right into it with our number 10 spot. So in 10th place I do have the Anakin's Jedi Interceptor, though at this point it is really Darth Vader's Interceptor, but this is just a really nice set, and it was kind of our first modern duel on Mustafar. It was very small, but it was just a Jedi Interceptor, and it also has some nice minifigures with Newt Gunray, security droid R2, as well as Anakin and Obi-Wan to have a little duel on Mustafar. So that was a great little set. Pretty sure it was $40, so just generally great. Next is the X-Wing, which I think is just a very nostalgic set. I think I'd never actually owned it, but it just appeared in so much classic promotional imagery, as well as it was the set that was based on the massive creation that they did to celebrate the Yoda Chronicles in New York Times Square. It was one of the biggest LEGO models ever made, so obviously it's just a great set with lots of praise, and I think it's very recognizable. Probably one of the most recognizable LEGO Star Wars sets out of any of them. Appropriately coming right after the X-Wing is the Y-Wing Starfighter of the same year, and this was just a pretty nice set. Personally, I do prefer the Y-Wing to the X-Wing, so maybe a bit biased there, but it was also the first set to include Leia in his ceremonial gown, and that's a great minifigure with a generally great looking set. And I think that this is just generally a pretty well looking one. It was the last Y-Wing we got with the white engines. Obviously the new ones, including the UCS one and the 2017 Rogue One edition, had the grey ones, which is of course inspired by Rogue One. I always liked the set and thought it was kind of cool that it had a function to split apart. With all these separate pods in there, and obviously the Queen Amidala minifigure is so cool. Definitely needs a remake on that one. But this set overall was just surprisingly nice for a Gungan submarine, and it's quite a unique looking vehicle, and it just makes a pretty nice looking LEGO set. This is definitely a fan favourite set. While I do think it is a bit overrated, it is for good reason. With 6 unique minifigures, not sure on the Anakin though, so probably 6 unique minifigures. They're all very cool and great for their times. Some of them don't have leg printing or whatever, but you know, still great minifigures, and the build is quite unique surprisingly. It does draw some similarities to the Death Star Final Duel sets that we got in later years. But overall it is a pretty unique set in its own right. Anyone who is a fan of the channel will probably know that I love the Mandalorian Starfighter. Well, this one does not hold up to today's standards, being the new one releasing 2021, which I do prefer. I think that this is still a great set. The only problem is that it is a bit studdy, and obviously the problem with the Mandalorian fighters is the underside, but it's still an incredible set with some great minifigures as well, being the first time we ever got Paz Vizsla, pre-Vizsla I mean by that. But you know, generally Clone Wars minifigures look kind of creepy, but these still are cool, and I love the colour scheme on this one. At first I did prefer this colour scheme, now I am kind of leaning more to the new dark side one, by that I mean dark blue, but overall just great set in general. I think this set is very underrated and possibly unknown, being the Sith Fury class Interceptor based on the Old Republic video game, being the 2012 RPG. And this is just a pretty great looking set. Like, honestly, this obviously isn't a TIE fighter, but it bears very similar resemblances, and it's probably one of my favorites, or my favorite TIE fighter model ever. And yeah, it just looks really sleek, which is quite surprising for when you look at it. There are a lot of studs, but I love the studs and tile design which are implemented into a few sets, and this one was pretty ahead of its times, honestly. Up next is one that is definitely the most controversial on this list, as was probably the most controversial LEGO style set of all time, being Jabbas Palace. Now I think fan-wise, fans love this set, it's great, but out of the community this is very controversial because of the set possibly being racist. Now I don't think it's racist. I think that this being based on Star Wars and kind of the Star Wars design may be a bit racist. I still don't think it's racist. But basically it was a Turkish community, I believe, who complained about the set and ordered for it to be removed from shelves because it resembled one of their mosques, and it showed Jabba the Hutt, who ruled it, as kind of a sluggish creature which they found offensive, which I can definitely understand. But I think the problem with that is definitely with Star Wars and not with the LEGO set. But overall this is a great LEGO set, and with some very unique minifigures which have never showed up again, and I would love a remake for it, but it's very unlikely a remake, and if it was remade it wouldn't even have the slave layer, but even this set didn't really, so I don't really mind it. So really hope for a remake, but very, very unlikely. First of the UCS sets to make it into the top spots is the Bwing Starfighter, and while I think a lot of fans didn't like this set, I personally don't see why. I get the price was a bit high, but this is just a great looking set, like, so smooth, and it's very accurate, and I don't see the hate for it. Like, it's generally just a really lovely and forgotten set. It's definitely one of my favourites, actually. I will go that far and say it. But there is one set which is a bit more favourable to me, which, again, if you've watched my top 15 favourite sets of all time video, you'll know it's coming. As you could already tell from watching that other video, or literally just seeing the thumbnail, it's the UCS R2-D2. This is a very nostalgic set to me. I always loved this, looking up at it, and I never ended up getting it. However, there is a newer version. Obviously the newer version is a lot better than this, a lot smoother, but this one it still holds a special place in my heart, and I definitely love this set. Very cool set, lots of great functions, and R2-D2 was always one of my favourite characters. However, those have been my picks for whatever the thumbnail tells you. It's not top 5, it is top 10 LEGO style sets of 2012, and what a great year this was. This is, on paper, probably one of the best years. However, obviously the sets haven't been as refined as they are today, but there's still amazing sets at that, and some quite nostalgic and classic ones. However, that has been all for today. Let me know your favourite sets of this year and 2013. 2013 is next week, or next time I do this video, and that's going to be really hard to choose sets for, as there are no bad sets that year, and it's definitely meant to be one of the best years of LEGO styles ever. But yeah, that'll be all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like and subscribe. That'll be all, folks. Goodbye.